So I just got back from the SoCal Fiber Fair and I wanted to do a really quick and thorough download while everything's still on my mind. So this was actually the first Fiber Fair I've ever been to, and I believe the second one of the SoCal Fiber Fair in general. I think last year was their first one. I couldn't go. So it looked like a lot of fun though, so I made it a point to go this year and I'm glad I was finally able to make it. Today was day 2 of that festival, or that fair, expo, show. It's Sunday. It took place both yesterday and today. And I have to admit, going in, I didn't totally know what to expect, which I know is so cliche to say, but like, I don't know if it's like anxiety, because I wouldn't want to diminish people who have actual anxiety, but I'm really nervous around crowds, a lot of people. I was going alone. I didn't know anyone. So I don't know. I just was a little apprehensive. Maybe we'll say that instead of anxious. I was a little apprehensive, just didn't know what to expect. So my plan, because I saw the pictures from yesterday, the videos from Saturday, and it looked so crowded, which made me so nervous. And there was also a note from the SoCal Fiber Fair, I think Instagram, where they were saying that they were going to actually allow people in earlier to let like a more steady stream of people rather than a crowd coming in all at once, I think. So my plan for today was to get there a little bit later, so not right when they opened. I was planning on letting the initial crowd weed themselves out, and I was hoping to catch sort of the end of that. And so, I mean, spoiler alert, the things that I was worried about I did not need to worry about them at all. I think that people in craft are some of the most welcoming and friendly people. You have such a diverse group of people who partake in this activity, and they were just, I mean, everybody was so nice. I didn't have one person be mean to me, because it sounds very, I don't know, I feel very childish or immature. I feel scared that someone's gonna be mean to me. I don't know why someone would be mean to me. That's some of the like anxiety, apprehension I have when it comes to being around people. I don't know how people are gonna react. I'm just afraid there's gonna be a negative interaction. That did not come to fruition whatsoever. In fact, it was the exact opposite. Everyone there was so nice and so inclusive. And I was not the only one who went alone, by the way. There were a lot of people who went by themselves. And the parking lot situation, I was worried about a crowd going in and like trying to figure out parking and everything. Parking was pretty dang organized. There were actually multiple events because it is in the Fairplex, so there's a lot of things that could go on in the same day, and that was the case today. There were multiple things going on, so you had to tell them when you paid $18 where you were going, so they knew how to direct you. And so the parking lot was not empty by the time I got there, which was like maybe 10:40, but I got a pretty close spot to where you walk to go on the tram. I have my notes here, so I didn't forget to mention any details. So I mentioned parking was $18, a few events on the same day. There was lots of parking by 10:40. You take a tram to the actual building because the parking lot and the building are not exactly walkable. And then once you get off the tram,
okay, when the tram comes to a stop, exit to your right.
It's a short walk to actually get to the building doors. And then once you go through the building doors, they scan your QR code. It was through Eventbrite, so I downloaded my ticket. I refused to download an app because they were trying to make, Eventbrite really tries to make you download the app, but I got the PDF from the website. That was my ticket. They scanned the QR code, and I had the nicest person. I mean, already, again, just knocking down everything that I was afraid of. The person who scanned my QR code complimented me on my sweater. She said it was so pretty, and she even was nudging me to go to this, they have a fashion show later in the day, in the afternoon, which I had to miss because I went home, I went home by the time that happened, but she was so nice and she was complimenting me on my sweater. She was kind of encouraging me to like do the fashion show. She was so sweet. And then after that, you get your wristband, which I can officially remove because it's just making noise under my sleeve. And then you get a raffle ticket and this map pamphlet that has a list of vendors and a map. And then it also has a schedule on the outsides for each day. And then after that point and you walk in, you're kind of just thrown in to the giant hall. By looking on the map, I wish I did my due diligence a little bit more. I think I was just very overwhelmed and overstimulated by everything that was going on. I feel like if I looked at the map a little bit earlier, and I think that this information was released prior to the event, so it was just me not doing my homework, I would have felt less, maybe, overwhelmed. It was very, I mean, there was still a lot of people there, despite the fact that I had a good parking spot. There were still a lot of people there. Not as many as what I saw the videos about Saturday, but there was still a lot of people there. Saturday looked like sardines. Like, it looked like shoulder to shoulder people. Sunday was, you still had to walk around people, let people by before you can walk through type of thing, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. So the resources were very clearly labeled, first of all, priorities, right? Bathrooms, very clearly labeled. They're near the front entrance. I didn't need to use the facilities, but it looked big. People were using them, so they were clearly labeled, so they were available. And then there was also the SoCal Fiber Fair booth, like, I guess, help for if you needed anything customer service wise. That was very clearly labeled. That was also where you drop off your raffle tickets. So they had 4 or 5 like things that you could put your raffle ticket in to try to win. And they were distributed by different times throughout the day. I put mine in the 11:45 one. I did not win, like, not even close, but it looked like a cool basket. So congrats to the person who actually did get it. It wasn't me though. What I also thought it was cool to mention for everybody who had not gone before, there's also a first aid booth that is very clearly labeled, and it was staffed every time I happened to walk by it. So it looked like everything was very well prepped for this event. With regard to the layout, you had 3 aisles of vendors, and I think there were like 60 vendors. It was a lot of vendors, and that was like the thing I think that made me the most overwhelmed, because there were the walls and then there were the booths. It was a lot, and everybody walking around. So it was a lot of vendors. But anyway, there are 3 aisles for the vendors to be stationed at. Halfway through down the aisles, you have your central plaza, which is where your more education happens. There are 6 tables, and throughout various times of each day, there are sort of like teachers who can present or show you what their knowledge that they want to give to you at those tables. There are 6 of them, and then flanking those on each side are classrooms, so classroom 1 and classroom 2, and they're actually completely closed off. They were completely curtained and closed off. And then after the central plaza, the aisles continue, and it ends with the town square, and that is much more that community area, open tables. It looked like open seating. That is where you can rest. There was also a long bench along Central Plaza, and I saw a few, what I will call very supportive partners sitting at that long bench of what it looked like. And then Town Square, has where it's just open tables, and you can sit, and it looked like a lot of people were working on their projects at that time. There is also this blue ribbon lane. They had a very comprehensive display of some entries and the winners and crafts that people had made and submitted, and it's really cool to look at, very inspiring to see everything that other people have made. So you can definitely get some ideas after looking at those. More about the vendors. They are a lot of different types of vendors, so they're mostly yarn. There was a lot of hand-dyed yarn, a lot of it. I would say the vast majority of them were hand-dyed yarn vendors, but there were also other vendors. There were there were some vendors selling art. There was like a sewing booth. Oh, there was also like someone doing pottery and selling pottery, handmade pottery. That was really cool, beautiful items, and of course tools and everything kind of just related to crafts. So a lot there. So, but a lot was yarn. I mean, to be expected, right? Yarn, patterns, like kits, that type of thing. A lot of that was there. I didn't have an agenda in terms of what I wanted to buy. I actually am really trying to work through my current stash. This is only a portion of it. If you saw my organizing my yarn stash video, you would know that this is not even barely a fraction of it. I'm trying to work down my stash. I have a whole collection of projects that I need to work on. I know I'm not the only one who has this list of projects, and I'm really trying to be good and work through them before I get anything else. That's not what's to say that's in this bag though. So I practiced some restraint, but not all, okay? I did pretty good. So at this point, after I maybe walked down one aisle after I entered, it was like maybe a little past 11. And there were some classes or some like educational tables going on. I stopped by one where someone was displaying her bamboo yarn. So she was really nice. Maybe that was like my second deeper interaction with somebody who was really nice. She wasn't trying to like sell me, she was just trying to show me what she was really interested in. So that was a very good interaction for me, and it kind of helped me get warmed up. I also read a tip online, which was to walk around all of the booths before you actually make one purchase. So that was my plan. I, just kind of zigzagged through up and down the 3 aisles. Everything was eye-catching and beautiful. So many things I had never seen before. So many vendors I had never heard of before. So it's really nice to just see them all in one place at one time. Every booth was crowded. There was so much interest and so much love and so much sharing at this event. I knew I wanted to attend a ball winding demo at 11:30. Actually, it is here. It's called Wind Yarn Like a Baller. Tips and tricks for snagless and smooth winding. That display was really fun. I don't have a yarn winder. I don't have the spinny thing or the cranky thing. I'm new in this world, okay? No judging on the fact that I don't know what things are called, even though I literally just attended a class on it. Ball winder and, the thing. The person who was leading this class or this educational session actually sells those things to hold the skein that spin while you are rolling your ball of yarn. So she was super nice, just like broke it down completely, gave us a lot of tips and tricks for how to successfully wind yarn, snag free. And she did a live demo as she was talking with one of her own, I think she had used a yarn from another vendor that was in a hank at the time, and then she put it on the thing and we stretched it over the table and she wound the yarn into a ball right in front of us as she was talking. So that was really cool to see. It was a beautiful ball of yarn, and we were comparing experiences of how we can never get those of us at the table were comparing experiences of how it doesn't always come out that way. So we would definitely keep her tips in mind. And I'm not totally sold yet on getting that set up for myself. I don't think that I wind balls enough to justify the purchase and the storage of 2 extra things in my house. So I'm not there yet, but I'm happy that I attended that class nonetheless. And then at noon, there was actually some musical entertainment. Steve Probst, live music to stitch and shop by, which was really cool. He was towards that end, the town square, so he provided some musical entertainment. I think that it provides such a different feeling to the environment that you're in. This is one thing that I'm going to say about this fiber fair. Again, I've never been to another one, so I don't know if they're all like this, but there was no shortage of activities. There was always something that was going on, if not multiple things going on at the same time. I mentioned that there were 6 tables in that Central Plaza area where there are educational sessions that happen. Some of them happen at the same time, so you're kind of screwed if you want to attend 2 that happen at the same time. But sometimes they do it twice, so maybe you can catch another one. So that's just something I'll say. There's always something going on. After the ball winding demo and during the musical entertainment by Steve Probst, I was then doing my walk around and then deciding on what I wanted to buy. I also passed by the knitting guilds. The LA and the Riverside ones were next to each other, and the Riverside one, actually, speaking of winding yarn, the Riverside one was actually offering free yarn, ball winding. Those words were not in the correct order, but you know what I meant. There were multiple people who took them up on it. I saw multiple people winding it at that time. So I'll go into my purchases in a second, but I'm just gonna wind this up. I'm just gonna wrap this up about the actual event. So there was also 9 of the vendors who I think are friends, and they got together and they had these postcards. You would go find and visit each of the 9 vendors. You would get their stamp, and then at one vendor in particular where you turned in your bingo card, you would be entered to win a raffle. So keep your fingers crossed for me. Maybe I'll actually win this one because that basket looked awesome. And then I spent maybe, all in all, maybe about 2 hours there of everything, of the walking around, of the observing people, of the making the purchases, of the attending those classes. And then it was a quick, you know, walk back to the tram, to the parking lot. The parking lot was way more crowded at this point, at like 12 something. So where I thought that most people would be coming in the morning, right when the doors had opened, and I tried to miss that crowd, I still missed the crowd, but not because I came late. It was still because I came a little bit early. So like 10:40 was a good time to come. People were coming in at like 12 something, and the parking lot was way more crowded by that point. Okay, so that was my experience at the SoCal Fiber Fair. Now let's go into my purchases. I brought this bag. Someone had mentioned, she asked, one of the vendors who I bought something from, she asked if I wanted a bag, and I was like, no, I can just use the bag that I brought. And then she was like, oh, a lot of people are saying that. So I guess a lot of people are bringing their bags, which is nice and resourceful. Also, if it's anybody who has an excess of bags, it's crafters, right? Oh, and I definitely want to mention seriously about the people who attend, who are so nice. When I was looking at buying one of the things in here, a woman walked up to me and she goes, hey, can I ask you something? Is it okay if I take a picture of your back? And I was like, yeah, whatever, like sure. She was like, I didn't want to be rude and take a picture of you without you noticing. And I thought that was very sweet. And then I felt like an asshole because I definitely took a picture of somebody's back without telling her. There's this other girl who was wearing this really cool vest, and I totally took a picture of her. I hope she doesn't mind. It was really pretty, her vest. I thought she did a really good job. So yeah, I probably should have done what that woman did and told her that I was taking a picture of her because I admired her vest. There were multiple people who did compliment me on my sweater, including that woman, and she was like, thanks for letting me take a picture of you. And I'm like, don't you want the pattern? And she was like, you have a pattern? And I was like, yeah, good. Look here. Like, this is from Mermaid Cat Designs. I actually filmed a video of this when I was blocking it. So if you do like the sweater and want to learn more about how I made it, I will link the video below. But that was really funny. And yeah, again, people were just really nice. And I don't know what I was worried about with people being, not that I've ever had an experience of being at a crafting event and people being mean. It was all in my head. If anyone else has any worries or fears about attending something like this alone because you're worried about people, don't worry about it. People are so nice. Okay, with that, I'm gonna get into my purchases. The first thing I got is these really pretty skeins of yarn. These are sock yarns, and I thought that this would be really pretty, this gray and yellow theme. These are, what is this? Oink pigments. And these were on sale. They were 20% off. They were in a bin where you had to kind of dive yourself and just choose what you wanted. And I got this because it looked very, like, it looked so fairy tale. I thought that was really pretty. I kind of can't believe I bought sock yarn with the intention of making socks because I am currently trying to make socks and it is taking me forever. It is skull socks, and I had started them in early October with the intention of making them for either Halloween or Dia de los Muertos, and not even close. And I calculated it. If I do like 4 rows a week, I can get it done before next Halloween. So I just gotta keep at it. This is my first time I ever made socks, so I can't believe I bought 2 more sock yarns, but maybe, we'll see. I'm just gonna find the right pattern for it, and maybe it won't be color work because these skull socks are color work. So maybe if I don't have to switch yarns all the time, I won't be so slow at it. So wish me luck. But I thought these were really pretty. Another thing I bought, oh, this is what I was buying when the woman walked up to me and took a picture of my back. These are skein protectors. Ooh, I actually want to try these. So these are from the Ginger Needle. These are like cozies or socks for your yarn, and apparently, so I actually heard about this product when I was at the ball winding station, or the ball winding tutorial demo, and we were talking about the fact that you are either somebody who pulls the wine from the inside or pulls wine from the outside, and she was saying that she knew of someone who sells these, and it actually compresses the yarn so that you don't have that thing, because you know the problem of when you do an inside pull of the yarn, the whole thing compresses after you do like after you use up a portion of it. So she was saying that she uses this and the yarn goes inside, and then when I was at the booth, the Ginger Needles booth, she showed me kind of a live demo of it. She was actually using it as I was looking at it, and she had it. I don't know if I can actually, it might be too late to try it. This is my sock, by the way. This is my skull sock. How do you like it? Can you see the skulls coming together? This is just a lot of trial and error for me. Yeah, you can't see anything. I can barely see it. Long story, but I had started with double pointed needles, hated that. And then I went on a very long circular needle to do 2 at a time. Didn't love that experience. So I finally just made my third purchase of getting 2 smaller circular needles. And I think I like that the best. But I don't know if I could, because I have color work coming in from both ends of the ball here. I don't know. I don't know if I can make this work, but I wanted to see if I could. I don't know if I can do it now. It might be too late for me to do this one, but my next one maybe. This was not related to the SoCal Fiber Fair. I really just wanted to see if I could do live, put this on. Actually, so the one that she had, I think was made from, the one that the person was using, I think was made from a wound ball of yarn with a tool. This one I made just putting the hank around my knees and winding it by hand. And I told her that I don't have a ball winder, and she's like, yeah, I could work with anything. So I actually might be able to still do it. I feel like you just, these were 3 for $20. Let's see, I might be able to do it. I'm just gonna squish it. I'm sure there's a better way to do this, but this is my first time, so go easy on me. And the point of this is, she specifically was pulling from both ends too. Well, she was right. I could do it with my hand wound ball of yarn. So the point of this is that everything stays together. I did it. So theoretically, I should be able to. My fear is about the yarn that's on the bottom and it's wrapped in the bottom, because you know when you do the one with the ball winder, you don't have it wrapping completely on the bottom like that, like I do when I do a ball of yarn by hand. So I don't know. I might have to play with it a little bit, but so far, FYI, it fit. And oh, she was also mentioning that it could fit a certain number of grams of, you know, I don't know how many grams of yarn I have. I just buy it. I might need to play with this a little bit more. Because I can't pull it out so readily yet, but I think it's definitely me. Like, if you did this a more traditional way, you'd probably have better luck on the onset. But that's the idea, because then everything stays together and separate. Not like me, because I put both of these in a bag, and guess what? They all unwound in the bag. So obviously that was gonna happen. That wouldn't have happened if I had these sock thingies. So I'm gonna make it work. I also got this design, and I thought this was cute. Are these characters? I don't know. They look like, are they from something? I just thought it was pretty, so I got it. So that's what those are. This is a scrunchie that I made. I didn't get this from the Fiber Fair. My dog got it and I had to grab it before he got it again. Ginger needle and stickers. Okay. Oh, I got this Oink Pigments pin for free for buying these hanks. So that came with that one. And then I bought a sticker. Which was really cute. I don't know where I'm gonna put it. I was thinking about having, if I ever have like a yarn journal or something, I would have to put the sticker on it. And then I also got this luxury bath bar soap. This vendor had soap from, this vendor had soap that was made, let's see, it has shea, water, lanolin, from like, it has lanolin in it, and this one is for your body. They had other soap that was wrapped in paper, that was meant for washing wool. I did not understand that to begin with. I thought it was all soap for the body, but then it took me a second. Just a heads up, if you ever run into the same person, there is some soap for the body, and there is some soap for wool. And those were all my purchases. I didn't go too crazy. See, I didn't go too crazy. So I got 2 skeins of yarn. I got these 3 yarn socks, skein protectors, and I got the sticker and some education and less anxiety about going out. I mean, I know that anxiety thing, it kind of resets. I'll get anxiety again later, but it was positive reinforcement for me at least. So let me know if you were there at the SoCal Fiber Festival, if you want to go to the SoCal Fiber Festival. I know obviously Rhinebeck is the one that gets all the news and all the attention because it's the biggest one. I don't know that I'm ever gonna make it there because it's on the East Coast, but I'd love to hear about all of your experiences. Going to fairs also, was my experience unique? Are they all like this? This was very well organized and very purposeful. So I loved the way it was organized. I have so much to share crafting wise, so make sure you subscribe so you can stay on top with me on those. And then I guess that's it. I'll catch you in my next video. Bye.